Hey folks, it's Harry, and today I want to talk about identity. So, identity. This is in a different form, and it's coming to light for me because of the changes that are going on with me in my life. So, I was just kind of want to hear what y'all have to say about some of this stuff. So, here's where it first kind of got brought up in my mind is I went to church this morning. So it's Sunday. I'm in Memphis, Tennessee, one of the, part of the Bible Belt. And so when I moved here, I was having trouble finding people on the same wavelength and hang out with outside of my program. And so I started going to church. Now, I'm not exactly a religious person, but I felt like it was important for me to go as a cultural thing. And it let me get around music that I had not been around for so long. So I started going to church. And I went, of course, found the progressive churches. It was a really good experience for me, and I've enjoyed it, and I actually look forward to going to church now, even though, if I'm being completely honest, and I don't mean this in any offensive way, I don't really understand the Jesus thing. I just don't. It's really hard for me to grasp my mind around. But the whole idea that we're connected by something, such as love and humanity, that really speaks to me. And it's a good reminder at the end of the day, for me, what is important. It's not just about me. It's time for reflection and just sending positive vibes out there in the world for anyone and everyone, throughout my week that I've seen that, I've thought about. And so it's just been really a good experience for me. But when I think of identity, I'm just going along with Southern culture here by going to church. Now, I'm moving to the north where going to church really isn't as big of a thing. So now I'm my identity of I don't call myself a Christian. I don't really go, I go because everyone thinks I should. Now becomes the opposite. I'm now the person who's going when most people aren't. And so it's a different identity. It's no longer the underdog. It's no longer the majority. It's the underdog. You kind of have to have a reason, I feel like, to be going to church if you're going to do that. And I don't know if I have a good one. And so, yeah, that started some identity things. And then I was sitting there and thinking other things, and I was like, man, one of the things I've identified with for the past 30 years, roughly or whatever, is this being told I'm female and how different I am outside of the box of female. I am significantly stronger than most females. In fact, I've never met a female who can lift more weight than I can. Just flat out, yeah, I've never met Olympic powerlifters, but in general, I can outlift most guys on most tasks, and let alone any female. And so I've always identified as a strong female. And now if I am going to be perceived as male, I'm just another normal guy because I'm at the same strength level as a normal guy, or expected of that strength, right? I mean, it even goes so far as okay, I used to play golf, I still kind of do, but I played golf in high school and we didn't have a female team, so I played on the men's team. And that was a different experience. And now I'd be oh, I'm just an average guy. I'm not a good girl. And that's fine. I can get over those. But, it just starts triggering. And one of those things, too, is also the whole lesbian identity. Whether or not I liked that identity, it was an identity where I knew I could find people who were like me, that queer crowd. And to now be transitioning into something else is just it's hard. It's a complete mind shift of oh, I'm no longer this perception, I'm going to be this perception. And how do I fit into that? And how am I going to handle that? It's just kind of blowing my mind of how much identity really is embedded into us and how it can really change with one thing. And whether that be moving, or whether that be obviously changing gender, or getting a new occupation. I don't feel like I can say I am a musician anymore because I haven't played a gig in 3 years, but if you give me my horn again, I could be better than 99% of the people in this world. And that's not me bragging, that's just sheer, like, I put in the 10,000 hours by far. So it would, it's there. And so it's one of those, like, who am I? Like, now I'm in the science field, so I guess I'm a scientist, and I'm also like in healthcare, and I'm also a musician, and I'm technically, they get the LGBTQ like crowd, but like they're not necessarily perceived as a butch lesbian anymore. You're kind of just a cis man appearing, hetero privilege, and it's so strange. Um, I'm now, instead of being the student, I'm still going to be sort of a student, but like I'm going to be essentially having a full-time job and expected to know a lot of things. And so there's just a lot of shifts. And I think that's a big thing in the trans world too, of like having to deal with this shift in identity. Because yeah, you may identify with the trans man culture, like that is you, but it's also new because we haven't lived that life. We've lived the female life. Or for me, I've lived the butch lesbian life. And you very obviously can stick out like a sore thumb in a crowd, and maybe I won't be anymore. Maybe I'm just gonna be me. Which sounds awesome, but it's a difference, it's a change. And I'm interested to see how that progresses. I really am. Let me know what you've thought and how you've gone through this, or if you kind of can resonate with that, because it's something that like really just hit me as like, this is gonna be hard. This is gonna be hard, but it's gonna be interesting, and it's exciting to see what the future holds. On a side note, this is my penultimate night in Memphis, Tennessee. I have 2 finals tomorrow. I'm going on one of those bike ride things with my class, where you like drink and pedal and yeah, I'm with a bunch of wheel girls. It's gonna be fun, and gonna enjoy my last day in Memphis before I head further north, but not quite to my destination yet. Yeah, that's all I got today. I hope to hear from you, because it really just genuinely interests me, this subject. So I'll catch you later. Thanks for listening, y'all, and y'all have a great, great, great week. It's almost May. It's gonna be May.